LeBron has gone from being one of the NBA's most popular players to a guy who doesn't really care about his image. Either that, or he's been living in the King James fantasy for so long that he has no idea how his actions appear to regular people. Today, we'll be talking about the current small forward shooting guard for the Los Angeles Lakers and his most disrespectful moments. So, stay tuned. Is he the most arrogant player in sports? LeBron James has perhaps become the most egotistical athlete in all of sports. His popularity has gotten the best of him, and he's even admitted in appearances that his work damages his family. That statement is, to put it mildly, unbelievable, and NBA fans pity him. All of his games have been broadcasted live since he was in high school, and he's usually acknowledged as one of the best basketball players, so we can't really blame him for being too full of himself. Is it, however, even justified? Given that he is the proud owner of 4 championship rings, he may be justified in acting a little high and mighty. However, he isn't the only NBA player to have ever won a championship ring. Shaquille O'Neal, a retired NBA player, has 4 championship rings, but is regarded as one of the most modest athletes of all time. Perhaps LeBron could pick up a few pointers from him. Hopefully, someone in LeBron's close circle recognizes that he's ruining his reputation and learns to be humble sooner rather than later. If not, he may soon become one of the NBA's most despised players. With that being said, stay put, because we're about to go over some of LeBron's most heinous acts and why many despise him. Let's get this party started. He claims to be the GOAT. LeBron James's claims of being the best player ever did not go over well with everyone in the NBA. James declared in an edition of ESPN's More Than an Athlete that overcoming a 3-1 deficit to help the Cleveland Cavaliers win the 2016 NBA championship made him the best player of all time. The fact that his team returned in such a positive manner made him believe that he had accomplished something unique. While there's no denying James's status as one of the best players of all time, numerous members of the NBA community, particularly past players, were upset when he came out and claimed the title for himself. Isaiah Thomas, an NBA Hall of Famer, said, "He's never heard Michael Jordan claim he's the greatest of all time, and even if James believes that, you don't just say it." Thomas went on to say that if he were still in the NBA, James's statement would make him feel disrespectful, and he would want to go after him on the court. Kevin McHale, a fellow Hall of Famer, concurred with Thomas's statements on NBA TV and felt that saying that he was extremely disrespectful to past NBA players because there have been so many players like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson who have led teams and turned the game around countless times. To put it another way, you don't need to be a self-proclaimed GOAT. Allow others to speak for you. In contrast, in a 2009 interview with ESPN, Jordan was asked about being named the greatest player ever, and he shied away from the term, saying he doesn't enjoy it because he never got to play against the top players in past generations. The no-look shot. LeBron James channeled his inner Stephen Curry by turning his back before his three-pointer went in during the Lakers' annihilation of the Houston Rockets. The LA bench went crazy after James made the shot and they couldn't believe what had just been done. This had to be one of the most disrespectful acts James has ever committed on the basketball court. Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. Therefore, he's used to using his jump shots to taunt other teams. LeBron's shot was even more impressive though, because he's never been a consistent three-point shooter. During his amazing three-point shot against the Rockets, LeBron James spun around and looked right at the Lakers' point guard Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder claims he staked $100 on James's shot. Because LeBron is a once-in-a-generation talent, he decided to take the bet while shooting the ball and look Schroeder in the eyes while his shot was still in the air. When all is said and done, James could be regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. Right now, Michael Jordan does hold that title. But with the way LeBron is playing in year 18, the Lakers' star has a realistic chance of surpassing Jordan's basketball record before he retires from the NBA. With LeBron James and Anthony Davis at the helm, the Lakers have an outstanding offense and defense. The team's chemistry appears to be strong. This season, the chosen one is aiming for his 5th championship and 5th Finals MVP. Despite the fact that there are still many games left in the regular season, James and the Lakers are playing like a team that understands they are the NBA's superpower. disrespect before the Suns game. The Los Angeles Lakers and Phoenix Suns faced off in the final game of Tuesday's 5-game slate. All eyes were on LeBron James, who continues to carry a weaker and struggling Los Angeles Lakers side through a difficult season. LeBron's pre-game costumes have been known to turn a few heads, but his entry into Staples Center before the recent Suns game has to be one of the more divisive moments. LeBron smoked a cigar as he entered the Lakers arena. He was wearing a face mask, so he probably couldn't take a puff till he took it off, but that was most definitely a very gangster. The TNT anchors couldn't believe their eyes when they saw what he did. Kenny Smith even went so far as to claim that LeBron's cigar-wielding ways were rude and inconsiderate. However, you have to give LeBron credit for his bold entrance there, but what counts most is how he performs on the basketball court. Rude remarks about the Warriors and Suns. This season, the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns hold the best record in the NBA. However, it does not appear like LeBron James is giving them the credit they deserve. After his Los Angeles Lakers dropped their 5th game in a row this weekend, James discussed the injury and protocol absences his club has encountered this season. He remarked that nobody is going to feel sorry for them. No one is going to feel sorry for their record, and no one is going to feel sorry for men who are out because everyone has guys out, with the exception of Golden State and Phoenix. How obnoxious is that? James might have simply stated that every team has players who are currently unavailable. He did, however, pick out Golden State and Phoenix particularly, which are coincidentally the league's highest-ranked teams. James's message seemed to be that those two teams were more fortunate than talented. James is not only disrespectful, but he is also inaccurate in this instance. At the time of James's comments, Klay Thompson and James Wiseman have not played for the Warriors this season. Andrew Wiggins, Damian Lee, Moses Moody, and Jordan Poole are all now in protocols, as is Draymond Green, who entered following James's comments. The Suns have had fewer absences, but they were still without their star scorer, Devin Booker, due to a hamstring injury for several weeks. Dario Saric and Frank Kaminsky have both been sidelined indefinitely. However, James's statements were likely to have been influenced by something personal. He abandoned the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Los Angeles Lakers signed LeBron James to a 4-year, $153.3 million contract, ending his second stint as the face of his local home team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. James, an Akron native and the Cavaliers' first-round pick in 2003, departed the team for a second time in 8 seasons. James has left an incomparable legacy in Cleveland for a Lakers team that has produced a slew of historic NBA greats. From his new boss, Magic Johnson, to Kobe Bryant and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Perhaps it wasn't fair for the rest of the world to hang all of Cleveland's aspirations on a single youngster from Akron. However, when James got the Chosen One tattooed on his back and gained millions by selling himself as Cleveland's savior, he took on that responsibility himself, only to disappoint them later. Behind James's effort, Cleveland was nearly single-handedly revitalizing. Its downtown was redeveloped around the stadium. Its residents were regaining pride, and a huge economic bright spot was emerging. James made a fortune off of it too, of course, but he ended it abruptly one day when he opted to relocate to Miami. When he yanked the plug and walked away without saying anything or saying goodbye, taking every penny of his money with him, as a result, he has earned the enmity of every Cavaliers fan as well as the contempt of every sports fan who believes in upholding one's commitments. Even though it's difficult to watch him go, it was the greatest decision he could make at the time. Many people will probably understand the decisions he makes as time goes by. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. If you liked watching our content, please leave a like, share, and subscribe to our channel.